So welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you can see, we've switched places yet again, switched backgrounds, and that's just because, by the title of this video, you already know what I'm coming to talk to you about. The boobies are boobing. I don't even have no boobs, so this is like ridiculous. But yeah, new background today because obviously by the title of this video, I'm trying to get like Oprah too. Get on my Oprah Winfrey game and have some sultriness and some peace going on with this gray background. But I don't even know where to begin with analyzing and dissecting this. What was it, a 2-hour interview that we watched? It seemed like the whole nation was on the edge of their chair watching. Dang, y'all. There's a lot to unpack. And you know what was shocking to me was when they announced that they were doing the interview with Oprah. I've seen Oprah interviews before, so I knew it was going to be in depth, but I just didn't know. The royal family is a whole different ballgame when it comes to talking in the media and meeting up and doing interviews about. So I just wasn't sure what the focus was going to be on, what they could answer, what they would not be willing to answer. So it surprised me how forthcoming Meghan was in her testimony and what she has to say. And even then, so you can even tell, I was watching the whole thing with my sister and my mother, and we were just talking about how you could already tell that she was holding back and repressing even more so. So everything she said, I just have to personally internalize that, whatever she said, it must have been like 50 times worse, because you could tell she was teetering. She was choosing her words very carefully and articulately. And you know what? Let me go ahead and tell you, Meghan, you better than I am. And Harry, you better than I am, because you would not be able to take me and lock me away and put me away for a time being. And then it still had me trying to like cover and try to save you guys after you guys didn't come to my defense. Oh, I would have been spilling all the tea. I would have come there with, even though I don't agree with Monique, I would have been there with my with the binder just like her, full of receipts, names, email addresses, phone numbers, last names, the place where it happened. Bitch, we let me not curse. We're gonna get to the bottom of this today. That they had that much restraint to not put their whole family on blast, especially Harry. I can't even, oh my God, there was so much to the startling discoveries. Let me just start with the front. We're just gonna go in no particular order. I don't have no notes or anything. This is just me speaking off the cuff. The story that got leaked to the tabloid about Meghan making Kate cry. Do y'all think that Kate leaked that? I wish I had some tea to sip on. Do y'all think that Kate leaked that story and leaked it out to the press? Because it just seems to me, I don't know, y'all are talking about, we know that there are all these procedures and all these structures set up to prevent, y'all's family from being publicly shamed and stuff like that. You barely let Meghan walk 2 steps down the street. You got everybody on lockdown. You're taking people's phones and passports and stuff. But somehow, somewhere, whatever, the few people, I know it couldn't have been a bunch of people, the few people that was in the room that was probably related to y'all, and all of a sudden, magically, that story got leaked to the press. How? It seems convenient to me. And how does the story switch that way? That's interesting. How does the story get flipped in such a way where Meghan has to now come behind you and explain herself that no, it was actually in an embarrassing type of way. You could tell that she was like, I'm not even trying to make this a thing between me and Kate. Although Kate, me and you gonna have an issue, because I really could care less of whether, disputes are disputes, disagreements are disagreements. It happened, y'all squashed it, you said you apologized and move on. But once you saw this girl and you saw how they portrayed it in the media and flipped it around and was starting to paint her as the villain, why you ain't said nothing is beyond me. Why you ain't said nothing? Screw the media. If what they're saying is true and they got a hold on y'all and y'all can't really speak and make public announcements, you didn't even go to her and be like, yo, I'm sorry, girl, I done seen, what they're doing again. That wasn't my intentions. I apologize, No, you just gonna let her take the fall all by herself for some stuff that you did. That story, I was looking at my mama, I said, that story don't even make any sense. How is it Megan's wedding? She's stressed out because of her wedding, and Kate is the one that ends up crying. Does that make sense to y'all? Does that logically make sense? You're talking about it had an argument had to do with the dresses of the flower girls. Why is either way the story spins, you making Meghan cry, or Meghan making Kate cry? Why are you even having any input on what the dresses are to begin with anyways? This is not your wedding. This is not your day. So even if let's just say for this instance that you were telling the truth and that she did make you cry, there shouldn't have even been any disagreement to begin with. This girl is coming in here, vulnerable as hell. People are already against her. She's got the media against her. Last thing she needs is you breathing down her neck and having something petty to say about the flower girls' dresses. So that was first and foremost. So as soon as Meghan released that little bit of tidbit, I knew we was about to get into something. And it was so funny just the way that Meghan was talking about it, because you could tell she was like, Oprah was like us. Oprah was sitting there with her mouth open, just like at everything that she had to say, like, ooh, this is juicy. And Meghan was pretty much just like, I mean, you looking like you're shocked and everything. I'm literally just telling you what happened. Like, I wish I could say that I'm being salacious and that I'm making something up, but this is verbatim what was going on. So I just liked how Meghan was just kind of like, she was just talking. I can definitely tell that Meghan is holding back, and she's being, even the little tidbits that she did speak. And you already know, they already started. I done already looked on Twitter this morning at what the British press is saying. You can, smear campaign, twisting her words, painting her out to be a monster because she said two bad things. Ridiculous. I found it interesting when she talked about her relationship with the Queen and meeting the Queen for the first time, and how she said that was actually a pleasant experience. She said that she came into the situation a little naive. I will say, to me, I understand that from her standpoint, this is the man that I love. I'm really not getting involved in all this foolishness. I understand that. But for me, I would have probably done a little bit more. I mean, hell, I'm not even interested in the royal family. Well, I am. That's a lie. But I'm not even all into like all that stuff, but you know surface level stuff. You know what you heard, So I probably would have done a little bit more research going into it, but she probably didn't think that she had anything to worry about. But I found it interesting when she said that her relationship with the Queen was pleasant and that she's always had pleasant interactions with the Queen, which goes to further exploit, people using all these headlines to try to pin the Queen against Meghan. That Queen Elizabeth, and I know she done some horrible things in her past, and she's gonna have to answer to the man at the door when she meets her maker at the end. But that lady is 94, 96 years old. She barely know what day it is. So this rhetoric that the Queen is somehow calling the shots and the Queen is I didn't believe that for a second. That's just the figurehead and the face that they use to spew their hatred so they can, throw Meghan under the bus and then hide their hands and pretend like it's coming from the sources. So I'm like, no. But I thought that was interesting. There was literally like so much. Meghan talked about her relationship with the Queen, her life and what she went through paralleled so closely to that of Princess Diana. It was almost scary. And I hate that I even looked up articles and stuff this morning to try to see what people were saying about it. What the British press is saying. Oh, she's an actress. She's just acting. She's used what she's heard about Diana in the past and she's just trying to recreate. I'm like, Do y'all think this girl is delusional? Like, she looks like a pretty rational human being to me. Nobody is going through all these hoops and loops. And they even stated it several times, like, we were not expecting this. Meghan was pretty much like, I came into it knowing I'm gonna have some stuff to learn, but being open-minded to the situation. And it was because of y'all, and y'all didn't know how to act, and y'all didn't know how to be proactive in protecting somebody, that they finally reached their boiling point. So this whole trying to phrase it as if Meghan had some big plot and some master scheme to steal Harry away from you guys and overthrow the British monarchy. The girl's not that clever, girl. She's not that clever. And besides, she don't have to work to overthrow the monarchy. We've been seeing y'all for who y'all are. Even before the crown. I know they want to blame the crown on, you know, ruining their reputation. We've been seeing y'all for your works. We know what it is. We saw firsthand what you did to Princess Diana. So I hate that narrative and that rhetoric that Meghan is somehow brainwashing Harry and, you know, she's convinced him of, no. Harry, a grown man. He fell in love with somebody and he saw them being mistreated, and he did what any grown man would do in that situation. Oh, I'm sorry. The palace isn't really loaded with grown men. It's loaded with a lot of cowards, which brings me to my next point. Harry, we gonna need some names, okay? I need a name. I need a name and I need a phone number of whoever it is that you had that conversation with about what the color of your, the possible skin color of what your child was gonna be, Archie. I was so disgusted and so floored when I heard that. How does that even begin to, but then again, I'm asking for a completely insane institution to be sane, irrational, and logical, but that just goes to show you how, like, the anti-black really popped out. Let's talk about this for a second. Meghan is one of the most fair-skinned, mixed-race, ambiguous girls I've ever seen in my life, okay? She's very white-passing. That's probably why, and, you know, Harry and Meghan never stated this during their interview. I wish they would have talked about it, you know. I could tell they were teetering, but, I'm sure Meghan and Harry, I'm sure they had conversations about race, but I am pretty positive that they didn't think it was going to be to the extent because of how fair her skin is. I'm sure they had that conversation, and, like, I'm sure they've had race conversations, but I'm sure it never went in depth like that because they felt reassured, as any person would feel reassured. That girl was very white passing. They didn't think any type of nuanced racism was gonna come with that, but lo and behold, it did. And I think somebody phrased it perfectly on Twitter. I would link the tweet that, you know, colorism is what, I know people hate that word, probably don't make it about colorism, whatever. Colorism is what, proceeded to let Meghan into the royal family, but it was ultimately the anti-blackness that pushed her back out. Because, you know, to the average person, you know, aside from her mama, you know, you wouldn't automatically associate her with being a black woman. Absolutely not. But yet and still, I think people need to not get so much hung up on the fact that, oh, she's fair-skinned, she's lighter-skinned, so it doesn't really pertain to her. I'm like, I understand what you guys are saying, but it's the anti-blackness and the rhetoric of anti-blackness, but it's coming, it's translating to us in the form of Meghan, so she has to be included into the conversation. There's no way around it. That just shows how racist that infrastructure is, how racist and completely Archie about as pale. I don't even have nothing in this room to reference it to. Archie about as pale as ever. You and y'all was really having a conversation, and I need to know who it was with. I would like to know. I understand that we're all trying to be politically correct, and this is your family, Harry, and that's another thing that I'm gonna get to in a second, but at the end of the day, y'all gotta stop sparing these people. These people don't give a heck about you. They revoked your protection away. The princes, aren't Archie was one thing. Archie was one thing. The prince, the father of, the son of Prince Charles, the grandson of the queen, the head of the monarch, who he's had protection from literally since he was born up until now. All of a sudden he gets his protection taken away. How does that make sense? They don't even do that in America, baby. Even for the president of the United States, even after your term is done, you keep your Secret Service with you. That's how protection works over here. So that's very no. Not only are you gonna take this protection away, y'all having nuanced card. And I need to know who it is. I'm gonna keep coming back to it because it's very important. Oprah has already released a statement this morning and said that Harry told her that it was not the queen, nor was it Prince Philip, her husband. So that means that it was either one or two people. It was Charles, his father, or it was William. I'm thinking it was the latter. Or you know what I'm thinking? I'm probably thinking William and Charles was off kiki and have a conversation of their own, and Charles told William to bring it up to Harry. So I don't know, because obviously the people at the very head of the head weren't telling Harry anything, so he's getting all his information secondhand from family members. I'm guessing so. The only people he's having conversations with is his father and his brother. And he already said that the relationship on both of them is strained. So actually, you know what? Scratch that. I don't really care who it was. William and Charles could just both take the charge for that one. And we'll just assume that it was both of them. And that'll just wash the whole issue. Because that conversation is something, it's freaking ridiculous. And this whole interview, really, what this really showed me is that family really means nothing to that monarchy. I would think that at the end of the day, despite title, despite prestige, despite what this whole thing is supposed to symbolize, that's still your brother at the end of the day. That's still your son at the end of the day. That's still your grandson at the end of the day. And the fact that you would rather protect yourself and protect the brand of what you, and I'm like, the brand is crap. Like, we see, the gig is up. Like, stop trying to put on this facade and this whole fake pageantry like everything is fine and dandy over there. We been know everything is not sweet over there in the royal family. So what are you trying to, y'all might as well go ahead and just be honest. That's what Meghan was coming from with her exhausted self. She's like, just say what it is at this point. Like, instead of beating around the bush, instead of trying to make it seem like it's something that it's not. Like, she talks about, again, I know this is like all over the place and I'm not even going in chronological order, but it's literally just all coming. It was a lot. Like, it was a lot of information, like from start to finish. I'm so proud of Meghan and being so articulate and being able to, you know, she got to be careful because, you know, they already done painted her out as a bully and a mean girl. So that's why she got to tiptoe about what she got to say. But she fed up. You can tell she's fed up. It was very disheartening and sad to learn that, you know, she was contemplating suicide while she was carrying her child. And when she went to go express concern and asked if she could get help, the answer was no. And kind of like how when Diana was going through her mental health crisis and she seeked out help and the answer was no. And so she decided that she was going to throw herself down a flight of stairs in an attempt to kill herself. Y'all don't see a problem with that? Like, just, I know it's an institution. I know it's the monarchy, and I know they kept saying, Harry was like, it's always been explained to us as things, you know, this is just the way things are. We've all been through it, Y'all don't think to change things over time without, I mean, you can still keep the core foundations and the central values of what you had, but y'all can't evolve more. I'm not understanding. They're telling her she need to, oh, well, Meghan, you're doing too much. You need to sit down. You need to stay in the house. Girl is like, I've been in the house for 4 months. I've stepped out maybe a total of 2 times. And that's me being everywhere. She was basically saying, you know, no matter if I'm inside, outside, sitting still, doing something, they're always going to find something to say about me. So I'm just supposed to sit here and do nothing? I don't think so. I don't think so. And she reached her breaking point, and so did Harry. And, you know, Harry had to make a decision about what it was going to be. And I'm sure, you know, Harry been looking for an out anyways all these years. Been looking for an out. But yeah, Meghan's not crazy. She's not crazy, and it's not far-fetched, the things that she is saying. It's just everyone in that family has been so brainwashed, you know? Even how Harry was saying, he was saying that his brother and his father are trapped in the system, and I absolutely believe that. And I think people need to, even with Harry himself, I think people need to have a little bit more, not even compassion, just understanding for his situation. Because you gotta think, Meghan just not coming into this, and she couldn't even, like, she couldn't handle it, you know, for the what was it, a year that she was involved in all this foolishness. Harry has been involved in this since infancy, and so has Queen Elizabeth. So has the Queen. The monarch and the matriarch of the family has been involved in this system when her father was king. So she's been in this institution for years, and so has Harry, and so has Will, and so has all them other racist people in that system. And so I do have a little bit more compassion for his reluctance, because that's still his family at the end of the day. That's still his family at the end of the day, and that's all he knows. From the time he was born to now, he's been constantly told things. This is how things are. This is what it means to be a prince. You know, that's been drilled into him since he was a child. So I think people just need to have a little bit more understanding when they're like, well, why didn't he take this route? And oh, hell no, I would have been more rah. You know, it's a lot more. It gets so much deeper than that, and Harry gonna have to work through his own trauma. And I'm glad that he has. I didn't know Meghan was as articulate as she is. I mean, obviously she's articulate, but she's a speaker. She likes to talk, and she's definitely an activist, and that's another thing that wasn't gonna work. That's another thing. I'm like, how you bring somebody in here, you want them to be dazzling, then they dazzle you, and they take over, and they take the forefront and the spotlight from y'all. Now all of a sudden it's an issue. And now all of a sudden we got to pinpoint, and you can't even freaking tell me that the British press and the media and the royal families are not working hand in hand together. And I believe every word that they said about them throwing little swaways and whining and dining them press people to be able to keep the bad news from getting out and to keep the good press going. And the fact that y'all would go, y'all go to such lengths to cover up y'all mess, but when it's Meghan, when it's your grandson, when it's your sons, when it's your brother's wife, the mother of his child, all of a sudden y'all don't know how to use those resources. Oh, okay. This whole thing was just some foolishness, y'all. If I was Harry and Meghan, I would never reach out to the royal family again. I would have, aside from his grandmother, Harry seems to think that he has a relatively good relationship with his grandmother. So I'm sure he'd want to keep that relationship going on. But I'd probably tell Will to kiss my ass. I'm sorry, like, Will and Kate, like, I'm your brother, and you next in line to the throne, and you don't have my back on some stuff. And that's how you know it's even more so, because when Oprah asked Harry, how was your relationship? Oh, well, my father stopped taking my phone calls. That's how you know that there's no sense of unity and no sense of family, because you can't take somebody's real child, And I call my your child calls your number as your parent, and you don't pick up the phone because you're in your feelings, because they decided that they have to do what's best for themselves. Sounds ridiculous to me. Sounds ridiculous to me. I would, at this point, I'd be like I said, I think Meghan and Harry were being way too, which I understand so, because they don't got no protection. You know, all these death threats that they're getting, all it takes for them to say one thing before the same thing that happened to Diana all those years ago repeat itself. Them suggesting that Meghan keep her acting career because they wouldn't have any way to pay for her. That was a pretty on the nose thing for them to say, to try to, I'm like, just say y'all don't want her there. I don't understand all these like games and all these mind tricks, and you know, we gonna have you over here but you can't say nothing, but you know, we not really gonna say anything in defense of you. I'd be like, well then why am I here for? I don't have to be here. Meghan was probably like, I can do my humanitarian work, you know, which they were trying to find a balance between the two where they could step back and get some freaking relief from all this public ridicule and still be there for y'all. But y'all couldn't even do that, and it's just ridiculous and sad. And they've already spun everything, like everything that was, you know, because everything that I was hearing was Meghan and Harry have decided that they don't want to do this. Meghan and Harry have decided that they don't want to do that. And what they're telling us is basically, they told us that, you know, it was time for us to go. They told us they didn't want us to do the picture. They told us they don't want him to be a prince. I'm like, and y'all are flipping it in the media as if it's, and it's really sad. It's really sad. That just shows you Britain, what show, and I hope if people from UK watch this video, I hope you don't get offended, but y'all need to have a conversation with, I don't know what's going on with y'all over there. It's getting absolutely ridiculous. For me, it was the racial element. The fact that we even have to like have this conversation with a woman who is not even, what, maybe 25% black, and her child is even less than that. And I'm just the fact that that child and her have an ounce of blackness in them, they cannot handle it. And these people, this Piers Morgan, I'm gonna punch him in his face. The rest of these British blogs and these British grown men up on here talking about some, oh my God, I was so disgusted when I saw that clip, talking about some, when I see Meghan, I don't really see a black woman, I see a very attractive woman. What the hell is that supposed to mean? The heck is that supposed to mean? It's just little stuff like that, little digs like that, and then y'all want to play in people's face, y'all want to play on people's intelligence, and then say, oh, it don't have anything to do with race. That tabloid comparing her son to a chimpanzee, that don't have nothing to do with race. The fact that y'all always talking about her freaking mother, that don't got nothing to do with race. Okay. Go by. How long have I been talking on this thing? Way too long. I feel like there's a million things that I didn't even get to, but the conclusion of it is the royal family is racist as hell. We already knew that though. Go and watch The Crown. Them people was best friends with Nazis and stuff like that. So, yeah. The royal family is racist. Kate and William are dead to me. I don't too much ever want to hear anything from them again. And she can keep whatever she has to say to herself. I don't really want to hear an apology from Kate. William can kick rocks. You already starting to pay for the stuff that you did because your hairline is receding and you look awful and you're balding and your teeth are yellow. So you already getting your karma. Who else? Queen Elizabeth, you still gonna have to meet your match at the end for the stuff that you did to your sister and all that way back in the day, but you cool on this because they said that they was cool with you. Prince Philip got 2 feet in the grave, so we don't even have to have a conversation about him. Camilla can choke. Charles can choke too. You're an awful father, and you are an awful husband, and you are a cheater and a liar, and you couldn't even protect your son or your grandson, and you should feel awful about that, and I hope you can't sleep at night. And yeah, Meghan is prettier than all of y'all. Y'all are some haters, and you're mad because they got out and they won and they're happy and they're living their best life and they have a child, a little baby girl on the way. I was excited when they announced that. Really cute. I wish them all the happiness in the world. Y'all already know that this is about to... I just pray for protection for them, because you already know that the response to this is about to get even more ruthless than it was before, which is startling to even think so. But yeah, that felt good. I needed to get that out. That was some ridiculousness. That is some ridiculousness. Y'all, the royal family and that whole infrastructure and the system and the institution, or whatever we want to name it, y'all got to figure out your stuff and figure out how to advance beyond what y'all learned and what your grandparents taught you and what their grandparents taught you 500 years ago. The world has evolved since then. The world has changed since then, and you're being left behind, and everybody else is laughing at you, okay? Because everybody here in America sees it for what it is. I don't know if y'all are being censored over there. I don't know if the queen secretly has a gun up to y'all's head, but y'all gotta figure this mess out. And I know it's not all the British people over there. Plenty of British people I've seen in support of Meghan and Harry, but for the other ones who have a stick in their behind up for her and just can't seem to, everything she does just seems to irk your soul, y'all gotta talk to God about that one. Do some soul searching, because it's getting weird. It's getting very weird. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. Woo, that felt good. I had to get that out. But that's all I had to say on this video. Y'all need to drop. I really want, like, I hope this video blows up, because, like, I want to continue to have this conversation, because this was some foolishness. You know what was the most shocking part to you guys? And what was the most shocking revelation that you guys saw in the comment? Let me know if I forgot anything. It was like a million things being said. Let me know what you guys thought about the interview. Oh, another thing that I wanted to say before I got off of here. Oprah's amazing interview skills. Me and my mother, when I was in elementary school, middle school, they had changed the time of the Oprah Winfrey Show. I think it used to be at 2 o'clock, and then it started coming out at 4 o'clock. Every day at 4 o'clock, I used to make myself a pretzel in the microwave, one of those little frozen pretzels, and I put cinnamon and sugar on it, and me and my mom would watch, we watched the Oprah Winfrey Show. And so I've just always, you know, even though, and I know what people say about her interview skills, and even I have in the past been like, okay, Oprah, you don't have to say all that, you know. Everybody's not perfect, and everybody's entitled to their mistakes, but, you know, this interview just really reinforced to me the fact that Oprah is, and always will be, you know, is and always will be queen of interviews, just because Oprah liked to get to the point, okay? Every time, and she was real respectful about it, you know. She wasn't disrespectful. She was asking the questions that the people wanted to know. She was really good at redirecting them when things got off course, and I don't know. I've always loved Oprah. Oprah's all right with me, you know. She done some questionable stuff in the past, and you know, I'm not talking about her on a personal level, but her interview skills are always on 10 for me, and that's what made this so much more inviting. It really felt like a one-on-one with like a friend, because Oprah can really, you know, get them answers from out of you. But okay, for real, that is the last thing I had to say. I could ramble on about this interview for hours. I'm sure I was talking a mile a minute. I tend to do so. But you guys let me know what was the most shocking revelation that you heard from this interview. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all want me to talk about next. I really want more content, because I'm starting to slack, and I told myself I wasn't going to slack this year. Like the video, please, if you like me. You like how I look. Subscribe, and I shall see you guys on the next video, whatever I make. Thank you guys. Bye.